All right, well, happy Monday and happy start of a brand new work week, Central Georgia. This is Meteorologist Ansley Parker. I am in for Meteorologist Alex Pry this morning. He is taking a very well-deserved break and he will be back tomorrow morning. So while I'm here, we are going to dive into your extended forecast as we normally do. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this awful, dreary pattern that we've had over the last week or so. And that has carried us into the very beginning of this work week. The spoiler alert and really the good news with this forecast is that this is all coming to an end later today and coming into tomorrow. But right now, it is still here with us. Across all of the sky cams at the moment, you can see it's still gray skies outside right now. A lot of cloud cover this morning, and actually we did have some showers early this morning. Right now, things are dry, and this is expected to be a pretty dry day, but across the board, it is still not the best looking picture outside at the moment. A moment ago, I thought I saw the sun trying to come out here in downtown Macon. You may notice this throughout today, the sun trying to break through from time to time, but overall, we won't get the true clear skies until we head into Tuesday. So through today, we're kind of in a transition day where these skies are going to be working their way out of here. It is just a very cool day overall, and the pattern is going to stay this way until late tonight. Like I said, we'll clear up later this evening. As we head into the rest of the work week, this pattern will not find us again. So we will eventually leave this behind for the rest of the work week here. And we're talking about basically a much clearer and honestly a little bit more boring forecast for the rest of the upcoming work week. But let's dive into temperatures as well, because that's going to be an important part of this story also. Across the board right now, you can see that we are actually not in the coldest air that we could be right now, but a lot of the eastern half of the United States is under some cooler air. We've got our flow coming in from the north, cooler air settling in over a lot of these regions. And here in Georgia, we're on a little bit of a split. Obviously, the warmest numbers are down there in Florida, and we're still experiencing some pretty cold temperatures, at least for our area, especially for this time of year. If we look at current numbers across the state, there's really not much of a spread between us and North Georgia, which is a bit abnormal. But here across central Georgia, we are locked in the upper 40s. We really haven't seen these numbers move too much throughout the day because of the cloud cover. So what it's doing is, excuse me, keeping our numbers just basically where they are. When we have a lot of cloud cover in the overnights, that doesn't allow our overnights to cool down quite enough. And then when we have a lot of cloud cover during the day, obviously that doesn't allow our temperature to heat up quite enough because we don't have the influence of the sun quite as much. So when we look across the board, we're seeing numbers that are fairly consistent with what we saw early this morning. One change for today that you will notice throughout the afternoon is that we do have winds starting to increase right now. What's going to clear this pattern out of our area is actually a cold front. So obviously that's going to come with a little bit of difference in winds, and you'll start to notice that throughout today. Early this morning, the winds were calm. Now you're starting to see the shading enter the map, which means the sustained winds are starting to pick up. The wind gusts here, which are the numbers in yellow, those numbers are starting to pick up as well. We'll probably have wind gusts today up to around 20 miles per hour, and the sustained winds themselves can get up to around 15 miles per hour. So that will be a change today, but other than that, it's pretty much a rinse and repeat story from what you saw on Sunday. Dreary skies with cloud cover out there, and it will stay nice and cool all afternoon long. The high temperature today will not be much higher than what we're sitting at right now, maybe somewhere in the mid 50s, and this is still well below average for this time of year. Notice I did put the rainfall icon on there. That was just because we did have some rain really early this morning, but we really shouldn't have to worry about that for the rest of the day. When we take a look at the current satellite and radar across the eastern United States, there's some snow up here further towards our north in Virginia and Kentucky, and then down there in North Carolina, it's transitioning over to a freezing rain. Here in our area, it's just a lot of cloud cover. You can see that everybody's pretty much locked in under this cloud cover across the southeast, and that is definitely the case here across the state of Georgia. But when we zoom in a little more locally and talk about central Georgia specifically, we just have clouds rolling across the area. If we take this radar all the way back to early this morning, I'm talking around 5 to 6 in the morning, that's where we had some sprinkles that were rolling across the area. Almost everybody probably did see a sprinkle early this morning, but it wasn't really enough to kind of impact the morning commute unless you have a very early morning commute, and now it's all gone and we won't really see any more rain for the rest of the day. So when we flip off the clouds, you can see that there's nothing out there right now in terms of rainfall. Maybe you might have a misting from some of the clouds that are a little heavier, but other than that, there's really not much to worry about in the way of rain chances for today. And as we head into the 7-day forecast, there's not going to be much to worry about in terms of rain chances really at all. After we lose the cloud cover today and set up our new pattern, it is going to be very, very dry. We kick off Tuesday again with clear skies, and throughout the day on Tuesday, there will be absolutely no threat of rain. It's going to be completely dry. We're going to have clear, sunny skies Tuesday and Wednesday as well, and then you're going to start to notice a pattern in the other direction in the way of clear skies. Now, you kind of saw the cloud cover roll there late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. You can see some clouds. We've got another cold front coming our way. It may bring a little bit of increased cloud cover for that time period, but overall, it's not going to be like what you're seeing outside right now. It will move on pretty quickly, and it won't be anything that brings a widespread rain chance. You just may notice one or two more clouds. Again, that's late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, so it may blow by without you even noticing at all, but it's not going to increase our rain chances. It's just going to bring a few more clouds into the picture. Again, we stay dry Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so all the way into the weekend. We carry these drier conditions and the clearer skies. You will see one rain chance right now on the 7-day forecast. It is a 10% chance of rain for Sunday. So overall, that is not a very high percent chance of rain. I threw it on there because there's kind of another frontal boundary that tries to work its way through our area. As it does that, some of the long range models are trying to resolve it, still having some moisture with it. Overall, it really doesn't look like a lot. And when the long range models already look like this, that tends to mean that we're really not going to see anything at all. That's why I've gone with kind of the lowest chance I can go with. We can't rule it out entirely, but overall it's looking super unpromising. So there is a rain chance on there for Sunday. If we happen to see anything, obviously we're going to need to get more details on that in the coming days. But right now it's looking extremely unlikely. So I know this weekend is a big question because we had a lot of holiday parades, Christmas markets, things like that were supposed to happen this past weekend that have been rescheduled for this weekend. You don't have to worry about it too much. I really don't think weather is going to get in the way of any of those sort of events this weekend. We should overall have clear skies, and then the temperatures also should be a bit more comfortable as well. So if we see anything here on the long range beyond this, we could start having a different conversation. But right now, this is all I've seen for the last couple of days. And overall, that doesn't give me a lot of promise for a rain chance for Sunday. Of course, if that changes, we'll keep you posted. But right now, I can pretty much confidently say it doesn't look like it's going to be much of an impact. So that means that in the next 7 days, rain chances really aren't a big part of the conversation. Thank goodness. It's actually been many days since we've been able to say that. And while the rain was here, we actually were able to get some good rainfall totals. Now the totals were definitely better south of I-16. That's where the rain kind of tracked and trained over the same area. You can see down in our southern counties, southern Dodge County, maybe over 2 inches of rain, and kind of a similar story where you see the green shading here. North of I-16 was a little bit lighter, but still, even in some of that light rainfall, we got around the ½ inch mark in a lot of these spots. Now this is just from the last 5 days. That's as far out as I'm able to go back on our radar indicated rainfall rates. That was a little bit of a tongue twister there. But I went back and I looked up how much rain we've had in the month of December as a whole to kind of show you where we stand for this time of year. So far this month, if you may remember, we did have one rainfall maker that actually was a little bit substantial. It was that Monday morning, I think it was a week ago today, when we had some rainfall that was going to impact the morning commute. During that time, this is in the Macon-Bibb area, we saw around 1.5 inches of rainfall, and this is total for the entire month. So that was kind of when we tacked on the most. Really negligent rainfall amounts were added to it since then, but that was kind of the big rainmaker so far this month. Remember, we're only on December 8th, so there's more opportunities for us to get some rainfall. But when we compare this to where we should be in the month of December, we've kind of got a long way to go to track with average for this time of year. The average for the month of December, we're supposed to see over 4.5 inches of rain. So right now, it's not that we're not going to meet that number, but when we look towards the long range forecast, again, there's not a lot of rain in the next week or so, so we still have some ways to go in the next kind of end of December weeks here. And you may remember this is something we've been talking about a lot, honestly, since the month of September. Drought conditions in our area are still very much present. Obviously, that 1.5 inches of rain was enough to kind of, I think, keep this red category, the extreme drought category, away from our area, but we did see the severe drought extended further north into central Georgia. So now I would say most places are actually in the severe drought as opposed to the moderate drought, and this is still something that is, again, very much present. This was as of December 2nd. We'll likely get a new run either tomorrow or on Thursday, and we'll have a little bit more details about how the rain chances have impacted this, if at all. Likely we'll kind of see it stay the same, but the big story here is that we still need rainfall. Even though it's good to see some clearer skies entering the forecast, rainfall is still something we want to be paying attention to here in the month of December. And like I said, we still have a ways to go to meet the average for this month. And as we look towards the extended models and the longer range forecast, this is December 13th through the 17th. Today is the 8th. Rainfall is expected to be below average for this time of year. So we're not really expecting any next big rainfall makers in the next 2 weeks or anything like that. At least that's what the Climate Prediction Center says. Obviously, these things can change, but right now there's no sort of atmospheric trends that say we have a lot of rainfall heading our direction. So we could still be in a little bit of a dry category. It will be interesting to see as we close out the month of December and start talking about 2025 as a whole, how much of a rainfall deficit we end up being in because of how dry the last couple of months have been. Obviously, we'll keep looking for rainfall, and this is something we'll keep talking about a lot. It will be good for all the outdoor events that we have going on, but we do need to look for our next rainfall maker. Now, temperatures over the last couple of days, because of how dreary it's been, have been a little bit cool as well. As we head into the long-term forecast, our temperatures are actually going to start hanging out a little bit closer to average for this time of year. So notice when we look at this Climate Prediction Center map, the blue colors indicate that we'll have some below average temperatures, and the red colors indicate we'll have above normal temperatures. We fall right in between that. This really light blue and this gray. That just means that we're going to have near normal temperatures here for this time of year, which means we're sitting exactly where we should be in terms of afternoon highs and the morning lows. So let's talk specifically about what that means number-wise. Obviously, with rainfall chances taking a little bit of the back seat this week, temperatures are probably going to be our bigger focus, but overall, the forecast is a little bit boring because the temperatures are going to be right where they should be. So I'll walk you through the next couple of afternoons. Obviously, today's going to be in the mid-50s. That's going to feel cool with the rainfall that we had this morning and the cloud cover that we continue to have this afternoon. Heading into Tuesday, things are going to be the coldest that you'll see on your 7-day forecast. The high temperature will be in the low 50s. And I know you might be thinking, but I thought you said it's going to be sunny. We're going to have clearer skies. We are. We still will have nice weather. But because it's a cold front that's pushing through our area, the afternoon highs are going to be a little bit cooler. We're also going to have a little bit of a breeze. And that means that Tuesday is just going to feel a little bit chillier. But notice from Tuesday to Wednesday, we make a big jump, almost a 10-degree temperature jump in the afternoons. And check this out, the average high temperature for this time of year, 63 degrees. As we make our way into Wednesday, high temperature right now is forecasted to be 62 degrees. And then after the midweek, though we're not necessarily exactly on the mark like we should be on Friday, we're hanging out closer to average for this time of year. In the long-term forecast, the high temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s and low 60s. So that's kind of right around where we should be for this time of year. And that's kind of how things are going to be for the rest of the work week and heading into the weekend. Remember, you'll have the one exception here with Tuesday. That will be cool all day. But then as we climb into the mid to later portion of the week, obviously not super warm, but I would say low 60s, especially when we're in the end of December, probably will feel warm compared to the low 50s that we had over last week. Now, this is the same thing, but opposite on the morning lows. The morning lows over the last couple of days have actually been warmer. When we have cloud cover in the overnight hours, it actually keeps the radiation, the sunlight, the things that keep the earth warm in the earth instead of allowing them to kind of go out into the atmosphere at night. So we've been a little bit warmer each night. We've been hanging out somewhere in the low 40s. Obviously that hasn't felt super warm, but if you had to be out early in the mornings, you've noticed it's a little bit different than how things have felt when we were near freezing. That was kind of the case this morning. Morning low was right around 40 degrees, so not super warm, but it wasn't super cold either. As we work our way into the long-term forecast, we're going to be getting a little bit cooler, and there's going to be more fluctuation with the overnight lows as compared to what we had last week. So by tomorrow morning, these 2 days are going to be really cold. Remember, it's a cold front coming through here. Tuesday during the day is going to be cold, and then as we head into the overnight hours, it's going to stay cold. These 2 days are going to be near or below freezing, and that's kind of where we're going to bounce between for the next couple of days. The average for this time of year is 39 degrees, so actually closer to what we saw this morning. We're going to trend a little bit below average for this time of year in the long term. Some mornings are going to be near or below freezing. Some mornings are going to be slightly above that, but we're going to be somewhere in the 30s as we go into the long term. So doing something kind of the opposite, as opposed to warming up in the afternoons, we're cooling down in the mornings. But I think overall, everything's just going to feel a little bit closer to how it should feel for this time of year. It won't be anything that feels super abnormal. I think actually last week probably felt a bit more abnormal. So with all that said and done, this is what the 7-day forecast looks like. Obviously today we still have the dreary skies. We had a little bit of rain this morning. We lose the cloud cover and everything else through this afternoon. And actually, I just glanced over. We have the sky cams pulled up behind our desk back there, and I see peaks of blue skies over in Warner Robins. So will clouds be working their way out this afternoon? You may notice peaks of sunshine, but we'll still have clouds mixed in there. By Tuesday, those clouds have moved out, and then we are on a dry stretch all the way through the upcoming weekend. So really good weather. If you had to postpone any sort of outdoor plans last week because of the rainfall, this week is a good week to kind of get outside and check those off your list. The high temperatures are going to be around average for this time of year. Remember, we said upper 30s or upper 50s and low 60s. Into the weekend, it looks like we're looking at more upper 50s, but either way, again, it's kind of around where we should be for this time of year. And the morning lows, we're going to be somewhere in the 30s. There's some mornings where we're going to be around or below freezing, and there's some mornings where we're going to be a little bit higher, closer to average for this time of year. I think we're looking at something with a number 3 in front of it for the next week or so. So definitely cool in the mornings. If you got to be out early or late, have a jacket on you. That's going to feel chilly for sure. Tuesday is going to be the one day that's the coldest on the 7-day. Low 50s still tomorrow, and then we'll work our way back up to the low 60s by Wednesday. Overall, it is a very temperate, comfortable forecast. It's a lot different than what we saw this past weekend and last week. The clouds are moving out and the sun is moving back in. So we will keep keeping our eye on rainfall chances in the long-term forecast. That's something that's our big focus right now. But at least while we have this week of pretty much uninterrupted sunshine besides a couple of clouds, it should be a good chance to get outside and enjoy the holiday season. So thank you so much for joining me for this extended forecast. Obviously, meteorologist Alex Pry will be back tomorrow morning, so you can join him once again right here at 11 a.m. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for joining us.